Wondering what it means to have a leadership mindset? What if I told you it's about discerning who you want to be and then making intentional decisions to become that person? But when we talk about leadership, it's really less about who you want to be and more about who you're empowering other people to be. In this video, we're going to explore that dichotomy. I'm LizJSimpson, founder of the Big Money Movement, and I have the honor and privilege of being accompanied by
Cheryl Perks
and Heather Patherick,
our esteemed coaches at the Big Money Movement. I feel like this is a mouthful,
It's
right?
a lot.
Like this is a lot. How do we break down a leadership mindset? You guys want to jump in? What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, my initial thought is around, especially when you talk about it's more about who you're empowering other people to be, right? Your team members, right? As representing your business. And I think there needs to be a debate or at least conversation around the need for coaching, not micromanaging, right? If we're looking at empowering our team to serve our customers at the highest level, it's not about, inspecting every single thing they do and how they do it so much as inspiring them through coaching, reflecting, asking for their self-awareness, and giving them the courage sometimes that they need to borrow or the faith that they can do it and trusting that they've got this and that you'll be there to support them along the way. Now that is a very different skill set. That's a coaching skill set.
Yes.
More so than a command, control, and direct and check manager. And I think as a leader who wants to inspire their team, they really need to have an eye on their ability to be a coach, particularly when the business is small and you're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah, I love the debate.
completely agree with that. I love that point. I think that is so key because we're just in an era now where the coaching piece is more about asking quality questions, right? And opening it up for discussion so that people can really have what is important to them come to the surface and then giving them the space to accomplish those objectives that go to the whole by leveraging what they have inside them.
Yeah.
Versus that manager, I don't know what you said, direct
Command, control.
Command and
I
control.
love that. Command and control. Yes, that's what it, yes.
Big ups to Jamie Parker, who's a client at the Big Money Movement. She's the first person who introduced me to that phrase. I don't know if that's where you heard it from, Heather, but she is who, yes, and she said she's a recovering command and control manager. And I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I love that. It's interesting because I think it was only about 4 or 5 years ago that I first started to hear the mumblings of this debate of manager versus coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, And I'm, obviously from the sales world, and the conversation was about, instead of having sales managers, changing the role of the title to sales coach. So it's a better depiction of how sales leaders should be approaching the role.
Yes.
And it made me pause and think about, well, what's the difference? What would a coach do versus a manager? And one of the things that stood out for me is that when I think of a coach already sees me as whole.
Yes.
A coach already believes that I have everything I need. I have the tool set, I have the skill set, and their role is just to pull it out of me. Help me see it, help me discover. But it's not that they're better than me or they have answers that I don't. They're just a conduit to help me find my own answers and to help me, to inspire me to bring out the best in myself. And so I was like, wow. And versus a manager, I almost feel like the idea, and I could be wrong, this is my own, I'm projecting my own baggage, right? That's cool. But when I think of a manager, I think of the person trying to catch my hand in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? Did you, like you said, here are the boxes, did you check them?
Yes.
And if you didn't check them, now I'm giving you a performance improvement plan, and in your review, I'm gonna bring that up, versus a coach is like, look, you got this. What do we need to do? What are your thoughts on the subject?
Yeah. And how can you use the skill sets, your experience, your personality, the way you're thinking to accomplish the goal that plugs into the bigger picture, right? So I've always been an individual contributor like yourself, Liz, and I've always been a coach. I've always coached teams, and I've always liked to understand, meet you where you are. Like you were mentioning, you were going in that direction. Meeting someone where they are with what they have, and then really just moving them through the process to get to, I won't even say their whole self because you do start as your whole self, but to get to that optimized self that they're looking for,
Yeah. When I think of these two dichotomies, coach and manager, I get this visual of a manager. There's a nuance for me that is more about poking, prodding, and hurting the talent. Versus a coach is really inviting the elevation, the expansion of that talent. And while they can seem like they're very close to each other. It's a subtle distinction, but it makes all the difference in the world, right? Some people need to be poked, prodded, and herded.
Yes, yeah.
Coaches do that too sometimes.
Sometimes
bit,
that's
accountability,
necessary,
right?
Yes, definitely.
But if a manager lacks that coaching capacity, when they've really got a star performer, an A player that is hungry for growth and development and greater performance, poking, prodding, and hurting is not going to get them there. It's truly that coach invitation and the borrowing of that coach's faith that they can do it.
And I think the other thing that goes with the coaching piece is that coaches have we've seen a breadth of experience. We've seen thousands of women do it before, right? So you can truly speak to, I see what you're doing, and I'm telling you you're on the right path, because success leaves crumbs, and we know what success looks like. Yours might be a little, maybe you've got a couple of additional colors on your palette, but success is here, and you are moving in the right direction.
That's encouraging. One of my early mentors, Delatoro McNeil II, he had a phrase that stuck with me, and he said, "Friends love you just as you are. Coaches love you too much to see you stay the same."
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying.
That's
Like
exactly it.
It's that pull to something
I know
greater.
you got more. Come on, bring it. I know you got it.
Yes.
I appreciate it. And if we're going to make the analogy that great leaders and that mindset is a coaching mindset, what are then some of the skill sets that must be required for that? Like, I think if, to your point of what we've said, I'm like, well, then a leadership mindset is one of where I first have to listen and be present so that I can hear like the potential and I can hear what their challenges have been. So I feel like that leadership mindset is putting the person first and listening.
Yeah.
What would you all add to that?
Communication, right? Being able to paint a clear vision and then connect that vision to where we are today and plotting the logical path towards that vision.
Yeah.
So communication, I think, is key. How about you?
And can I say, as a coach, I think you need to be concise. You need to be able to recognize things quickly, right?
Oh.
And when I say quickly, I don't mean within 10 minutes. I don't mean within 30 days.
I mean 10 seconds?
Yeah, 10, right? Like literally. No, I think you should be able to recognize those clues for success.
Yeah.
And those clues that say, I don't think your mindset's quite where it needs to be.
Yes.
Or I don't think the activity you're doing is quite what you need to be. If you're looking for this, you're going to have to accelerate on the activity and change your mindset and look at it this way. Look at it a little differently. And when you're coaching, you have to see that quickly. It's not it's not a marathon. It's people want to get to their results a little bit faster.
Yeah.
That's why they go to coaches.
When you talk about the clues, for me, I'm trying to find the language for this. It's almost like listening on a spiritual level.
Oh, yeah.
We are on the team for the Big Money Movement, and we train hundreds of women entrepreneurs to land corporate clients. And so we meet every single week, right? And we're talking about the women in the movement, and they present questions, what they think their questions are, right? And so one of the common themes is, we'll jump on a call and we'll talk about the clients, and they'll present a question and we'll go to answer it. But what's interesting, it's almost like in unison. Sometimes we'll read a client's question and we'll go, that's not the real question.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like listening on a spiritual level is like, that's not what Jane's real problem is. That's not what her real question is. So what is she really asking for?
What's these words?
Yeah. It's the ability to discern what to take at face value and when to dive deeper and know how to peel back that onion to really help that person.
Yeah.
100%. I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about athletes or anyone that has reached the top of their game. So a lot of the women that we work with are high performance achievers already in their own right.
Yeah.
And so they come in and they're used to being high performance achievers right off the bat.
Yeah.
And now you're in a new space and you have to be able to honor the champion. I call this honor the champion and root for the underdog, right?
Yeah.
So you root for the underdog, the person who's saying, this is out of my comfort zone. I don't know if I can do it.
Yes.
I'm rooting for that. But
You
I
can
have-
do it.
I have great respect for the champion in you that has gotten all the degrees and that you've accomplished so much. And there's no, we can't reduce that piece to create bigger space for the other side.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that really nice balance of doing both.
Yeah, I love honoring both the champion and rooting for the underdog. It's often in the same person at the same time.
Yes.
It is. We just had a conversation. I think we were going for a walk or something the other day, and we were talking about they can do hard things.
Yes.
Right? So the the qualities that the champion provides are the receipts that you can do hard things.
Yes.
So I'm going to honor the champion because that's proof that you can endure the hard things right now and elevate even in that area. As we talk about a leadership mindset, one of the ideas that could be polarizing for individuals is the idea that as a leader, if I pour into my direct stakeholders, my employees, my team, whether that's contractors, consultants, or what have you, but that if I focus my efforts on pouring into them, that they will be conduits to make sure that my clients are served appropriately. It makes me think of Herb Keller, the founder of Southwest Airlines, when he proposes this idea of people first, right? And putting my employees first, and through them the clients will be served, which is a shift in mindset. What do you all think about that approach? Do you agree with Herb?
Yeah. For so long, the discourse has been customer first, customers always right, customer, customer, customer. And while I agree that our service delivery needs to be focused on the customer outcomes, those outcomes can only truly be achieved efficiently, effectively, elegantly when we have poured into our team, because they are the legs of our team, right? They're the legs of our business, pardon me, right? And just like the legs feed the wolf, our team members
This is a new
feed
one.
the
That's,
business.
is that Canadian one? Because I need a breakdown.
Oh.
What is that? The legs feed the wolf?
Right? The legs, it's a saying. I don't know where, but it's a saying, right? You've heard it. Right?
I'm like, teach me, Heather, teach me.
The legs feed the wolf, right? If the wolf can't run, he can't find his prey. He can't feed himself.
Okay.
And and carrying on with this metaphor, I believe that our team members, right, our employees are the legs of our business. They're the foot soldiers of our business that are representing us in front of our prospects, our customers, and they're the ones that are delivering these outcomes so oftentimes. Our employees feed the business.
That's really good. I love it. And I will tell you too, there are other models, and so we're not all aspiring to have big box models, Fortune 1000 companies, but I mean, Starbucks, that's another one, Bob Schultz, and why he pays for part-time employees to go to school and have healthcare. And Richard Branson is another one who believes in that same methodology for Virgin. So yeah, it clearly is a model that works and works well if you know how to implement it with your team.
But it is pretty new thinking, right? If you think about the entire history of organized business, it's a pretty novel idea still, but it is a beautiful one.
Yeah,
I agree. Speaking of the value of pouring into people, right, and those relationships, let's continue this conversation. Let's talk about, is your network truly your net worth? Wondering what we have to say? Click the next video. We'll join you there. Bye.